Letterpress printing is technically relief printing, the kind of printing where the ink gets put on the raised area of the block and then transferred to the paper. Basically, it's a glorified rubber stamp. When I first started printing letterpress about 20 years ago, it was essentially a dead art. The presses that I first bought for the shop, I bought very cheaply because they were just taking up space. In the last 8 or 10 years or so, there's been a big resurgence in letterpress. Part of that, I think, comes from people's need to have something tactile. You can feel the impression of the letters into the paper. And I think people need that today. There's a lot of stuff that people interact with that's very two-dimensional. A lot of people are spending a lot of time in front of a lot of screens. And when you get a letterpress invitation, it really stands out as something different. Doing a wood engraving. It's kind of a weird combination of all sorts of different technologies. I'll do a sketch in my sketchbook, then I take a photocopy of that sketch, and then the photocopy gets transferred onto an end grain maple block. That way I have my drawing transferred onto the block in reverse. And then everything that isn't drawing gets cut away. It's kind of a reduction process. And the raised areas that are left are the parts that get inked in the press and then transferred onto the paper. A friend of mine started keeping bees, and he managed to make a couple jars of honey. And so this bee is for a label for his honey. Most of the commercial work that I do is designed on a computer. Somebody else determines the color, somebody else determines the type, and I just execute what they've decided needs to be done. But once in a while, like with this project, I get asked to do a wood engraving, which is nice to do. It's very calming and centering. It's the kind of thing that time disappears while I'm doing it. I came into the Minnesota Center for Book Arts just a couple weeks after they opened and worked with them for about 2.5 years. And during that time, master printers from all over the world came in to teach classes. People were coming in and cutting letters into stone. There were people coming in to do book binding. And so while I was learning how to set type and run a press, there were all these other things going on around me, all these other people who were expert at what they did. And everybody seemed like they were happy with what they were doing. They were pleased with their days. And I thought I could be pleased with my days too. I have a lot of different clients that come into the Nomadic Press, and each job that's brought to me is an important job. And it really doesn't matter to me whether it's a couple who are getting married, somebody who's starting a business and would like some business cards, or something to give to Nelson Mandela when he comes into town. They all present their own challenges, and they all have their own rewards. I have 5 presses here in my shop. The newest press that I have was built in 1957. The oldest press that I have was built in 1883. It's essentially the same technology that's getting ink from image to paper. The overlap of the ancient equipment that I work with and the modern technology that the designers who hire me work with is a lot of fun. It's really something to see a cutting-edge piece of graphic design sitting on a 110-year-old cast iron printing press. There's just something about that that kind of emphasizes the continuum that makes me feel part of a longer story. Some people, when they go to work, they go and do their job, and at the end of the day, they're done with their job and they are somebody else. When I get up in the morning, I'm already a printer, and I come into the press here because it just is what I do. It's who I am. When I get things set up and take the time to get things working right, they work right. The rest of the world, you can spend a lot of time trying to get things to work right, and they'll do whatever they want.
Minnesota Original is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.